Some of you may know about a old video I uploaded called GD's Theorem. For those that don't know, I was a young individual attempting to explain to myself and others what life was and could be. I made the video in hopes that a future me would make the attempt to understand the world around them through the theorem. By doing so, the conflicted existence of an individual within the present world could find prosperity, mentally, physically, and by means of their relationships to humanity and the planet. However, something very interesting happened with this video. Firstly, it ended up being the most disliked video I had ever created. Secondly, a user by the name of A Simple Teen posted a very polarizing paragraph in the comments section of the video. Thirdly, I responded to his comment with a very in-depth reply segmented into multiple replies addressing a broken down interpretation of his message. This was his original comment, adjusting grammar as needed. So you believe in natural law, correct? How does one go about stating that all individuals are unique in their own way and very separate? How can one possibly believe in a solidified individuality if in the end all that was achieved was pointless? If God isn't the correct answer to all of those, then your biased theorem is flawed and is in fact just a bunch of reinterpretations of Christianity without the Christian part of the belief. Your originality is poor and your presentation was depressing. Where is the evidence to prove that your theorem will improve society? Or are you just gambling with the masses of people as if this was chess? Believe me, if this was an interactive game of live chess, then you and I are just mere pawns to this life. Now, at the time, I was expecting some arguments regarding my topic, though I suspect I saw this comment with some high tensions attached. I wasn't prepared with an answer to his questions, though it seemed that I was willing to make some as needed. I broke down his big comment into smaller comments and addressed them as needed. It seemed I had a total of 9 comments to make in response to his one. One comment was an introductory to my address, with the other 8 comments being the addresses themselves. My introductory was straightforward and attempted to address the format in which I would address his comment as a whole. The first part of their comment addressed my belief in natural law. I addressed it as follows, with adjustments to grammar. I hear, I feel, I see, etc. These are my senses, and the only direct connection I have to this world. Anything in this world that I become aware of is done through those senses. But that is just the first line of sensory, and can be considered my real sensory. The next level of sensory is my interpretation. Though based on my 5 senses, the information within this level allows me to draw conclusions about the information I intake, real sensory, and create informations based on that data. This leads to the creation of opinion, or abstract sensory. I use my real sensory to feel the world around me. I use my abstract sensory to understand the world around me and create for myself guides that provide a path to look towards and direct my real sensory system. Abstract sensory is confirmed by real sensory. Both systems rely on the environments we exist in. These environments make up the universe we know as we know it. from an individual's perspective. When I say that I believe in natural law, I'm saying that I believe in the universe I live in. This means that I only believe what the universe has shown me, and I can only guess as to what to expect from there. Expanding my theories, then confirming them, is one of my objectives. If my interpretation of natural law is out of place within your own interpretation, I would suggest expanding on it further so that we may come to an understanding we can both acknowledge. The second part of their comment was difficult for me to address due to the wording, so I rephrased it as follows. How does one go about stating that individuals can be similar to one another and different at the same time? I addressed it as follows, with adjustments to grammar as needed. Individuals, again, by my interpretation, are creatures, humans in this case, that can be identified from one another by their differences. This doesn't mean that individuals can't share some similarities. It just means that theoretically we can be identified by others based on our physical and mental differences. We are humans, so there are bound to be similarities between individuals. The third part of their comment was also difficult for me to address. How can one believe in a solidified individuality? Which they then followed with the strong suggestion that life was pointless. I attempted to debunk or to create reasonable doubt regarding their point of pointlessness with an elaborate disposition handcrafted by myself. And with that, I addressed his comment as follows. We must continue to grow as we become more aware of the universe around us. As you coined it, solidified individuality is not an end state. It is a trend of growth that allows us to continue to grow, no matter the growth we have already achieved. As we examine our growth and compare ourselves to the rest of the world, we will find our purpose in life, our calling. But as you said before, this is not an end state. As our environments change, so can our purpose. We must be flexible with our universe if we wish to continue our existence happily. The fourth part of their comment was as follows. Where is the evidence to prove that your theorem will improve society? Or are you just gambling with the masses of people as if this was chess? This was actually quite easy for me to answer. Minus my long deposition, a theorem is not self-evident. It requires truths that suggest its evidence for it. It may have just been my opinion, but I believe that my experiences in life provided the evidence that the theorem was accurate. That may be dubious, but I was convinced that even if I was wrong, the adjustments required to make the theorem accurate again would only be slight and well within operating parameters. Anyways, this was the response as follows. The only proof I have is that my experience with other people improved dramatically when I adopted these beliefs. Happiness was just a fairy tale. Now happiness is a reality for me. Regardless of the strife I may face, it means that no matter what, I can turn my misfortune into my fortune, by examining my situation and using my perspective to learn from those situations. Example, your comment was very rough cutting. The tone of your comment wasn't very nice either. Your dislike on my video may have also been considered unappreciative. Fortunately, let's see what I did there. I created this video with this design in mind. In other words, Your comment provides to me one of the many perspectives the world has to offer. And thanks to you, I'm aware of its existence. You shared your opinion with me, and now I know more about the people of the world. We can learn from each other, and that was the purpose behind GD's theorem. I learn more about the world around me, share my views, and in return, you tell me about your views and share your world experiences. Something that I would otherwise consider unfortunate turns into my fortune because I am open-minded and willing to learn. Even your tone can be appreciated because it says that you are offended by my beliefs and passionate about your own. I'm not here to fight for what I believe. I'm here to provide the freedom to learn. This is my own theorem that applies to me, and just like I had said before, I created this theorem to explain my situation as it applied to me, and am providing it to others should they see it fit to benefit them. The only evidence that I need is my experience, 20 years worth approximately. If you feel that this isn't sufficient, then provide me with the next best thing, your experience. If you feel that my theorem doesn't prescribe to your needs, tell me why. It helps me to learn more about the world. I'm not quite sure if this was supposed to be a rhetorical question, but I will answer it anyways. Or are you just gambling with the masses of people as if this was chess? I base my theorem on my own experiences. If others wish to do so as well, then they may do so because it applies to their own experiences. I would never suggest that someone do something without reason, but I will not tell people to depart from their own beliefs and faiths. I leave the choice to them, and therefore I do not gamble with the lives of others. If they are relying on their own experiences, then it shouldn't be considered gambling anyways. According to the rules of chess, as I understand them, there is a clear winner, a clear loser, or a stalemate. Now, if you lose and you understand why you lost, I don't necessarily consider that bad. To me, losing and winning is a mindset. So saying that life is like chess where there are clear winners and clear losers according to the rules doesn't make much sense to me. Now, if you look at it like chess is a part of life, then I could understand. We have desirable results, winning, and we have undesirable results, losing. But both can be a learning experience. Also, not all chess players have the same experiences or strategies when they play. So that is also a relatable similarity. The fifth part of their comment was as follows. If God isn't the correct answer to all of those, then your biased theorem is flawed and is in fact just a bunch of reinterpretations of Christianity without the Christian part of the belief. So, one condition and two statements. I address them as follows. To answer the first condition, I don't know if God exists. Even as a Christian growing up in a Christian home, I wasn't really Christian because I didn't have faith. I didn't have faith because there was nothing I could experience. I read the Bible, the stories, the asterisk history. The problem was that my parents never knew what I truly needed when I was young and growing up. Even my readings never really helped me. Those things I learned from accepting who I was, what I was, and learning and growing as an individual. This was something that Christianity wasn't giving me. Does God exist? If he does, I will find out sooner or later, and I'm content with that. And to answer part of the second statement, I suppose part of my Christian upbringing did influence my growth up to this point. I won't deny it, and I don't regret it. It was all part of my development. Your bias theorem is correct. Like I had said before, this theorem was tailored to my experiences, both with myself and with those whom I interacted with. From my understanding, theories and theorems can both spawn from a single idea or set of ideas. To say that my theorem, at least initially, is biased seems somewhat redundant to me. Theories and theorems are simply a representation of our current understanding of the universe. They both assume the data they use is correct. How isn't that biased? You say your bias theorem is flawed. Because my theorem is tailored towards my understanding of the universe, we can look at your statement this way. GD out of context GD's understanding of the universe is flawed. I never claimed to know all and see all. As a matter of fact, I know that I don't know everything. The theorem is just there to explain things until a time when more of the universe is revealed to me. You would be very presumptuous if you think that your theorem or theory isn't biased. Actually, not surprised that you said that, as I used to say the same thing about other people's beliefs when I was a Christian. I was just too shy to say those things directly to someone's face. Having said that, if you are stating that my theorem is flawed because the answer isn't God, then you are claiming a higher knowledge than me. You should take care when saying such things, especially about those things we don't completely understand. The sixth part of their comment was as follows. Your originality is poor, and your presentation was depressing. Hurtful, but yes. Next. The seventh part brings us back to the chess thing. My address was as follows. You say, interactive game of live chess. With my perspective, I can see you and I as the players, but then you say, you and I are just mere pawns to this life. With my perspective, you are now saying that we are the pawns on the board of life. Whether or not you agree, I think you made a brilliant point. I believe that we are both, the player and the pawns. By our actions, we can manipulate the board, but we also suffer the effects of those actions. And by suffer, I use the Old English meaning allow, tolerate, endure. At the end of our game, given chosen task, we will either win, achieve desired results, lose, achieve undesired results, or stalemate, achieve mutually unexpected results. Though conflicts or games aren't always about one being versus another, there are times where it may feel that way. But even two people can play an open-minded, friendly, constructive game of chess. The same can apply to any number of things in this world. Having said that, what you probably meant to say was this. We are the pawns controlled by the forces that govern us. We do as they will, and there is nothing we can do about that in this life. It's all about perspective. Which one do you choose, or is there another possibility? The eighth part was actually my conclusion, where I summarized everything and gave my final response to his one comment. It went as follows. I believe in the natural law of the universe because they are my tools to understanding it. I don't know everything, but I am human and have the power to learn. I continue to grow and develop until the day I die. During that time, I will use my humanity to my advantage, supporting myself while helping those around me grow. Though one day I will die, I am content with having continued my legacy to those around me as the universe builds on itself.
If God is displeased with me for answering this calling, then he can explain it to me when the time comes. I look forward to hearing from him. After all this had been said, I received another comment from this user. It said the following. If I may, I would like to contact you through some sort of messaging service, such as email or Kik. The reason I request such a thing is to help you improve on this theorem, which you have made me a believer of through your replies. The reason I would like to improve this is to make society, in fact, a better place, such as this stated theorem suggests. We, however, never did manage to contact each other successfully regarding this collaboration. It has been 7 years since last contact, but maybe that'll change. Forever forward we march. This is GD signing off. Until next time.